Because one day I said, who started this? And it's like, that one pointed that way, that one pointed that way.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost a survival instinct, because it's not really, it's like the...
So you know what I started doing? And this worked brilliantly. I had blame day. No matter what happened, it was one person's blame day. And that worked pretty well, but then I had to start martyrdom day, where whatever happened, you could martyr yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Martyrdom day.
Next day was Purge Day, where everyone was killing silly.
Welcome to the podcast. This is week 19.
Week 20.
Week
Oh,
20.
we started
All right.
already?
Yeah, and we're playing some intro music. This is my friend Concrete, Aaron.
Concrete.
And this is a video he just put out. And I think it's brilliant, to be honest with you.
It's a good video. He shows his range a little bit, too.
Yeah, and I think the guitar lead on there might be mine.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm going to have to ask about it, because I heard it. I was like, that sounds like my lead there.
Concrete, this guy is solid.
Yeah, he's good.
Yes.
First joke of the show.
All right.
Snap.
Ah!
All right, well, let's do our welcomes then.
Punishing us already.
Well, Joe, since you brought our guest here today.
Yeah, we got lucky to have Marc Yaffee with us today for the Nook Talk podcast.
We still have
Good morning from the Nook. It's great to be in. It's my first time in the Nook.
Yeah, and this is our first time having fitting 5 people in this frame, so this is cool.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll work with 5 people if we wanted it to, which is exciting. And we're doing it on a Saturday instead of a Sunday.
Oh, that's right.
So
It's Saturday.
I don't know if we're going to count this one towards the Sunday series or what, but...
No, because tomorrow we're going to do Sunday,
Mhm.
because we're going to do a whiskey challenge.
Whiskey
Between
challenge.
the football-
that's
Oh,
right.
time out. I'm so in.
Before we go any further, make sure I'm in. I'm reserving a
To
spot.
catch you up with it, we've been doing beer challenges. You can tell the difference between like Budweiser, Bud Light, Natural Ice, all sorts of different
Cheap beer.
shitty beer.
Yeah, nice.
So now we're gonna
Yellow bubbly water.
now we're gonna do cheap whiskey and good whiskey. I
Yeah.
think so, and medium. We'll
Yeah.
do top, medium, and high,
Yeah,
top shelf.
might as well
medium,
do
low
3
shelf.
different shelves.
Yeah, top, medium, and well.
Yeah,
That's
top,
it.
medium, well. And so far, when it comes to the beer, Randall is the grand champion at the beer tasting.
We tied the second round.
But he won the first round, so he's technically
yeah,
ahead
I
of
agree.
points.
Yeah,
so.
you'll lose tomorrow.
Yeah, now we're doing John's range here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do IPAs after, I suppose.
It's got to be in February. I took drinking beer off for January.
How's that going?
Good. I've only had it for the beer challenge and that one day on the porch with those 2 fine girls from Portland.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That was a host. That was a host waiver.
Yeah.
I like how you count.
I love John. He's like, oh, I met these 2 hippie chicks. What are we doing Friday? Let's go to Portland. I was like, we have a show Friday. Nothing.
It was well worth it. The show last night at the Hi-Fi, of course, Mark was the headliner, and both Joe and Randall did some stand-up, featured and guest, I guess you call it. I don't know how it fucking works. I just played guitar. It was fun. A lot of nice people there.
I
Picture
stood up
included.
and drank.
Yeah, you were late.
Hey, it doesn't work without an audience.
Oh, I was told 7.
Comedy. We got to put that on the fire. Comedy at 7, music at 6:30 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Why would you say I just played music? It gives a whole good aura to the room when you have music up front. It's like the always got the MC comes out. And, okay, who's ready for some comedy now, dude? You've been doing comedy for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Who's ready to keep the show going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I hate that when the host says, who's ready for some real comedians? Like,
Here comes you. You ready for your first comic? What were you, a poet?
Yeah. Because you weren't funny.
I like it when people are clapping, then they stop clapping. Keep that round going. It's like, no, we already stopped. It's like, please do it again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to the big shit in the world right now. It's day 29 of the government shutdown. Is that?
I don't know. When did they shut down?
I don't know.
End of December?
It's kind of a weird thing because I think the shutdown is camouflage to the Russian thing. Because the bombshell came out this week in the Mueller investigation that Cohen released some information. It was released through BuzzFeed that he was actually in collusion with the Russians, and then Giuliani comes out and says, "No, I never said collusion."
Oh, I read the Seattle Times yesterday, and there was this article about what Giuliani said, didn't say, whatever. I swear to you, I got dizzy. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's smoke and mirrors, I think.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
yes.
so
And they're using the 800,000 laid off workers for that cover up.
Following this administration, it's like being having ADD and trying to watch hockey.
Yeah.
What just happened? Wait, that was yesterday.
Exactly right.
And they used to light up the puck. Remember that?
Oh my god, that was
I
horrible.
don't remember that.
Yeah, for like a season, they lit up the puck, so no matter where the puck went, you could see a little glowing blue thing.
Yeah,
And I thought it was pretty cool.
I hated it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Hockey
you know,
purist.
They have like a fucking disclaimer for viewers with epilepsy.
yeah.
Right?
I had a cat who loved to watch hockey, and it would try to bat the puck.
Did you
On the
film them and
TV.
get a viral YouTube video?
So you honestly think that Trump is intentionally creating a extended furlough to take away from his investigation and possible...
Joe, all he's done since he's been in office is create distraction.
Yeah,
I
if you go
understand.
back from day one of the administration, every time there's been a scandal, he's tried to.
Yep.
But he's
and
been
it's
talking about
always
the wall the
a
whole
distraction.
time.
Yeah, well,
it's
that's
hard
it.
for me to believe
Well,
it. How
actually,
passionate he
during
is.
his little speech, his 10-minute commercial for the wall, he said wall, I think, once. I mean, the rest of it was barrier and border
Border
security and all
Yeah,
these
lately
other
he's
steel
been
fence.
he's been
Yeah,
using border
call it
security.
what you want.
Hedge of bushes.
Call it peaches. He
Yeah.
even said peaches. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You know, the other thing I saw in the Seattle Times yesterday, written by 3 people, it was from the New York Times, and in it they said they interviewed a couple of Democrats who said they should really come up with a plan of their own. My news sources, mostly radio, have said for months what the Democrats want. They want drones. They want more personnel.
Right.
And here, the New York Times is saying, "Oh, they're thinking about coming up with an alternative."
Well, I
That's
think
baloney.
I think in some fairness to Trump, that if the UN would take care of more of their own military security, for example, we take a whole shitload of our troops back from Germany. What the fuck? We think Germany's going to invade us? Bring those troops there and put them on the border. Done.
Yeah.
Take that $5 billion and just transfer it, and everybody would say, yeah. The Democrats would say, yeah, we're pulling troops out of neutral zones and
I
we're
like
strengthening
that.
the UN.
I like that idea. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
I mean,
UN
$5 billion.
Yeah,
is
if it's humanitarian crisis, the UN comes
There you
in,
go.
put the troops
That's-
along the
that's it.
Mexico side of the border.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, that would be a good flip on the conservatives because they just the UN and the black helicopters and
But it makes-
big world one. Hey, we'll bring the UN and they can.
There'll be a big fucking bumper sticker.
By the way,
Build the wall is just like so simple. Put
Where-
her lock her up, but bring back UN security.
UN security now. Bring in the blue helmets.
I kind of feel like if
I-
Trump loses, which I think he is going to lose with the whole battle about building a physical wall, I think that he's going to do something like that, you know what I'm saying, put troops there and just call it the wall, initiative
the
or some
virtual
shit.
wall.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
built a virtual wall.
Yeah.
I have one.
Because he's already started, like you're just saying about when he did the freaking 10-minute commercial thing, he started kind of like backing away from using the term wall so much
Right.
and saying, maybe like a barrier or something to prevent him, like. So
We could just build a border mall.
Be like strip
The
mall.
American side and the Mexican side, we'll have like a Forever 21. They'll be like Forever 21 feet away.
Fuck it, man. Like, give them some fucking jobs, man. Have a couple dudes on there selling fucking bags of oranges. They got them in California on the corners.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Just a line of tamale carts. So.
Yeah,
That'd be
Taco
cool.
trucks.
A trade wall where you can have like just a spot where both sides can enter, but then that's like it right there. You can buy shit, you can sell shit. That'd be cool.
I think they said Jack, they just had the largest tunneling the other day, like 300 some people.
If you're gonna make a wall, might as well make it a fucking strip mall.
by the way, did you guys see that photo of the latest wave of people coming in? They're all well dressed. They're all smiling, chatting, laughing.
I bet none
Is
of them have
somebody
their kids.
paying
with
these people?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The people
Well,
from Honduras coming
They're all
up.
well dressed. And
They're-
Well, the
I've seen a
conservatives
lot
will
of
say
them.
George Soros is financing
Oh
it,
my
and then
God.
we can say,
Oh,
well, they're
yeah.
fine. They're
Because the
paying
thing is,
people
it
off.
makes no sense. These people have to know what's going on at
I've
the
seen-
border.
oh, yeah.
That they're being separated from their kids.
No, what's happening is a lot of these people from Honduras and El Salvador and Guatemala, they're getting to Mexico, and the Mexicans there are saying, get the fuck out of our town.
Mhm.
And so the police are trying to protect them in Mexico to get asylum in America, and there's a bunch of right-wing supporting Mexicans,
Yeah.
saying get the fuck out of here. So it's a huge conflict, and the people coming. I mean, let's put the truth where it's at. We've talked about this before. It's because the governments down there are corrupt, and they're corrupt because we put them in power there.
They're corrupt. Plus, we buy a lot of their drugs.
And
too.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's all about the drugs, and they're saying we have more people dying of opioid epidemic that are legal drugs to the pharmaceutical companies,
Right.
and versus cocaine and marijuana, for Christ's sake. So those are bad drugs because they're coming from brown people. These are good drugs because they're coming from our pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, we've had at least 2 doctors have been prosecuted now out of 150,000. Yeah, we're cracking down.
All right, we're getting someplace
Yeah, the
here.
pushers.
Yeah.
Wow.
My boss, they're Trump fans, and I don't have a problem with it.
Wait, at the dispensary?
No.
Oh, no. Let's clarify that.
Different
Actually,
job.
I think so, though.
Different job. Oh, maybe
We'll talk about that later.
But
We'll talk off
and the
screen.
thing is about anybody that supports Trump, I don't have a problem with because I've always been against both parties equally. Like I think it's all BS anyway. But she asked me, she goes, "So what do you think about Trump? Do you think he's doing a good job?" And I was like, "Well, I don't think so." And I'm going to give you 2 points as to why. He just went to fucking Iraq last month and promised pay raises to all these troops and got them
10%.
all excited.
Yeah.
Elevated levels of numbers that are so untrue and it's so fabricated and fake, it's obvious. But the troops are just like, yeah, you know?
He's a hype man.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
And
Con man hype.
He's
and it's
very
so
good at
discouraging. And then the whole him and Pence saying that they've defeated ISIS.
Right.
Like, what's the point in even fucking
Well,
saying that?
And we just had 5 service people or whatever
die from an
Yeah.
ISIS attack.
Yeah.
And so
Because they're
it's like-
saying, "Oh, no, you think we're done?"
yeah,
You
so
know?
they pull out
Yeah,
the troops
just
and
because
say
he
they're
says that.
done, and then the general resigns because he thinks it's a bad idea, and then those
Oh,
4
just fire him.
Americans get killed, and it's like, can you imagine the families and what
Yeah.
they must feel? Like them declaring a
Oh,
victory
yeah.
over
Well,
ISIS.
and all the Trump supporters, I support the troops. It's like, no, you don't. If you support that kind of rhetoric, then you don't support the troops.
And, you know,
What was her reaction to your saying that?
she understood. I mean, they're.
Oh,
I mean,
that's good.
Like I said, they're great people, and I wouldn't hold their political opinion against them in any way. But she was just like, yeah.
But the economy's really good. You know, I mean, it makes I feel richer.
Oh, it feels great right
You
now.
guys
doesn't
feeling
it?
good? Prosperity, hey.
Man, I feel poorer.
Transfer your stocks to hemp.
I like it when he says, you know, they know how to budget their money. They'll survive. You know, what did he say? They'll just shift. They'll adjust. They're good at adjusting.
Yeah, and his economic advisor like, "Oh, it's just an extended vacation. Enjoy yourselves." Well, yeah. There's a lot of people working without any money.
Right.
You don't even think about something whenever you said when he went to Iraq or whatever and had all the freaking troops clapping and shit. I don't even necessarily were clapping because fucking they believed the bullshit that he was saying. They were clapping because he had to be there and he was the
Yeah.
fucking president.
Yeah. If anybody's like, fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I just remember like we'd have like fucking admirals and
But
shit
at the
come
same
down.
time, there's a lot of people
Yeah,
that
definitely.
say,
Yeah.
like, you know, they honor the seat. You know, they believe in the power, so they want to see the president, regardless of who it is. Like the
Regardless.
Clemson fucking football team that goes get Big Macs that have been
Yeah.
sitting there for how long, get warm temperature.
I'm not allowed to eat these, but this is the president.
Yeah. What a freaking joke, you know?
I
I
couldn't
was like,
believe
good
he
thing
did
football-
that.
Hamburgers. Remember, it's burgers, not
Hamburgers? Yeah.
Hamburgers.
I want to see some like raw footage of like the guys' actual reactions, like when they're standing around eating and talking or whatever. Because you always see like just cut footage of you know them like looking kind of like you know,
Right.
content, and then like they got the one picture that they keep showing. It's
Yeah.
a dude and he has like 3 burgers on his plate and he's fucking smiling. And that's the picture that's fucking everywhere. I just want to see the motherfuckers just like,
Yeah.
fucking serious, bro? Like,
Yeah.
eating that goddamn Big Mac under a candelabra and shit.
Big Mac candelabra in China.
Yeah.
So we got some fights today at 5.
Yeah, we're wondering if it's going to be on TV.
I think it'll be on ESPN.
You guys boxing guys or MMA?
MMA.
I like both. Actually, there's a boxing fight on tonight too. There's Manny Pacquiao is fighting Adrian Bronner.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Patty's still going. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about too. Is that the shipyard? They dumped all the scrapings into the water.
Yep. They just keep doing it. They
Well-
don't give a fuck.
You know, for the longest time, I've been very much impressed by the environmental protection that the military does. I mean, that they take great lengths here. We have radiation out in our water here, but it's from the hospital because they do radiation therapy and then they pee and it goes into our system over here and then they flush it out here. I mean, it washes gallons. I mean, billions of gallons. It's like a heavy inlet that just takes it all out. But But to know that the Navy dumped all that paint, we're just, you know,
I can't
it's
believe
just
this is the
becoming-
first we've heard of it.
It came out in the Sun just in a brief article, I believe, about a year ago, and then
Oh,
it was
really?
exposed in the Times, Seattle Times, because it was being. I think they're being sued by the state now. Is that right? I don't know.
So was there a whistleblower? That
Yeah, there was a
brought
whistleblower. There was this
Yeah.
one gentleman, I don't remember his name, but he was very.
Deep throat.
But he came out and he started the process of suing him and making him have accountability for that
So
shit.
I don't want to just make this a Trump bashing fest, or maybe I do. But
Oh, yeah,
Is
let's-
this the administration? You know, they've relaxed so many regulations now on
Oh,
toxins and chemicals, and maybe there was something that edict came down to the Department of Defense like that. We don't
I
give a
think
shit,
it's just
you know.
the habitat that they have there. Like, I hear stories all the time about people throwing trash off ships just because.
So it's always been going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I mean, you know, it's just so, you know, right now it's at the forefront right here. You know, it's right here in your backyard. You know, everybody knows it happened. But whenever I was stationed, and like when I first realized how we got rid of trash, I'm like, we just throw this shit out. Like we literally, they have guidelines. You have to be like certain fucking nautical miles away from fucking shoal water or whatever before we ship trash. But we just literally just throw the trash in the fucking oh shit.
We've had like 3 major sewage leaks of human shit into the inlets out here recently in the last year.
yeah.
and that's infrastructure. I mean, that's part of what
Yeah.
you know. Obama made the big promise: we're going to replace these bridges, we're going to replace these roads. None of that happened.
Trump, but it didn't happen yet.
Yeah.
There's no money.
Yeah.
People want to allocate the resources.
Right. Then, once again, bring back some troops from somewhere. We're not killing anybody. I mean, these people. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, we have so many troops stationed so many places where they're not doing shit but shooting guns in the air for 4 years and then they get out of the service. I mean, it's the biggest entitlement program I think we have. And I would rather, like my son was on the Nimitz for 4 years. You know, he went to sea maybe twice, and it was just for exercises. And then he was done, and it was great. I mean, I'm glad he did that, but at the same time, I would have rather have him 4 years here making bridges or building the roads. I mean, take the same money and put it on our streets, and we'd keep these people employed.
Yeah,
and-
what if most of the money in the military went to the Navy Seabees and Army Corps of Engineers?
That's it.
Did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, totally agree.
But you know why they don't like do stuff like that? Like that's what I was kind of thinking about too. Whenever we're talking about the wall, and bringing people and putting over there, I think it's probably more likely that they would like hire like if they did something like that, hire like an outside entity, you know, for security other than the military.
Like Blackwater.
Yeah, because with the military, it's actually cheaper to fucking hire you know, the outside guys
But
because
was it really though? Like I was in
It
Iraq
is.
a couple times, and they had those contracts. Those guys are making like $300 a day to do
yeah.
laundry or something.
this is why I say well, it's cheaper. It's cheaper over a long span of time because you have the military guys. They're gonna fucking if they stay in and they retire, you know, you bring in more military people.
Lifetime
You have
medical,
to- lifetime medical,
yeah.
lifetime pension, and
Sure.
all that shit. You know.
I got you.
So that's why, like, you see, like, you know, a lot of times you go to base and you'll see actual civilians doing security advice when you have military police. That's their actual fucking job, you know, doing it, which kind of flabbergasted me. Once I learned about it, I was like, I guess it makes sense, but it's still fucking like conceptually bizarre to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I was looking in that article about the scraping to see, because I was expecting to be a contractor, you know, so the Navy pays somebody to do it, and they just take, you know, we don't need to take it to the dump and pay, you know, millions of dollars. We'll just dump it in the ocean and collect it. But I think that the same thing's probably corrupt in the Navy. That's where they're getting sued. You know, there's probably some officer that has a budget somewhere that said that they're going to do that, and they just save themselves some money, scrape it for themselves, and fuck it. But yeah, you're right. It's cheaper to contract. But in that sense, but like you're right.
But how many thousands of dollars? It's not going to be in the hundreds of thousands, or even probably to take it to a hazmat facility or a landfill and dispose. I mean, it's not like I can see if you're on an island in the Pacific and they're going to
It's
make
amazing what somebody will do for $100.
No shit.
Yeah,
It
you're right.
doesn't take much.
Oops.
Well,
Yeah. Oh,
Spill.
fuck.
You know, I'm thinking too, like, with all there's so many fucking, like, crazy restrictions, you know, with EPA and all stuff, you know, being in the military, that a lot of times it's probably not the right answer, but it's kind of hard to fucking get shit done you know, with the time constraints and the fucking budget, because they charge military people way more money for simple shit, you know, that they would charge a civilian for, like fucking recycling and hazmat and shit like that, you know. I'm not gonna say I've done it, but you know, there's a lot of shady ops and stuff that goes on because you're just like, this is unrealistic for you to.
But I think that's a fundamental problem. That's what Trump has a big problem with, is that there's too much red tape. We need to get things done. You know, and it's not about building a building. It's about paying everybody along the way. I mean, eventually the building's going to be built. So you might as well hire an inspector. You might as well hire an EPA guy. You might as well hire the right plumber. You know, all sorts of processes that go into making it. And he just wants to say, fuck it, let's just build it and then we'll deal with the consequences. And that's asbestos, for example. You know, let's not test it. Or what's the new technology coming out? The 5G. They don't know what the fuck that's going to do to us. And they're just like, oh, let's just do it. And they're going to put this 5G technology everywhere. And I don't know if it's going to fry our
and
brains.
And where are they? I haven't heard
of it. It's cell phone technology, so it makes everything faster. You know, like we need it faster. Yeah. It's just like, how fast do I need to see this porn? Jesus
well, like
Christ.
we were saying, they can set up.
I'm hitting pause half the time anyways.
I'm skipping to the end anyway. Well, and that's the thing that we mentioned before, was that they set up all these 5G little networks everywhere. Who knows what kind of physical harm it does to like life around it.
Yeah.
You know, but not only that, 10 years from now, they're probably going to be obsolete. And they're going to find ways to have to like retract all those and fucking do something with them, because now they have a different technology that doesn't require those things, you know.
And the technology for medicine, they just blatantly say, oh, it may cause you to want to kill people, or make your dick smaller, bleeding from your eyeballs, but it'll help your anxiety.
We're making billions of dollars on it.
But it's not until years later that they say, oh, it causes cancer, let's take that off the market. You know, same with 5G. They don't give a fuck until everybody's already paid for it, you know, and they made millions off of it.
I saw a meme on the online news today that said, with marijuana being legalized, now people are relying less on prescription drugs. And then it said, so the war on drugs is being won by drugs. Because it's a good point, because if you think about it, it's a necessary step. We have to. There's so many deaths as a result of prescription medication. It's up there with anything that kills people. With guns, it's up there, and it's a huge thing. If people, even if we took half of the people that are on prescription medication and found weed that worked for them, we would have far less deaths as a result. But of course, it's about money.
So this week they were doing the Senate hearing on the Attorney General, the new guy that's coming in.
William Barr.
William Barr. And it's really interesting that he's being put in this position because he's super good friends with Mueller. I mean,
they think Trump didn't realize this. Trump's
I wouldn't doubt
that
it.
They were buddies. That's how he does his vetting. You know?
Well, what about that memo? He sent Trump a 19-page memo. And he's also been an advocate of more executive power in the past. And in the memo, he mentioned something about the Mueller investigation taking too long or wasn't really necessary.
He didn't say that in his hearings at all. He said...
I listened to the...
Oh, this
was in the memo,
Okay.
A few months ago. So...
I drink beer.
He might just...
I like beer.
You and Brett Kavanaugh, you drink beer.
But anyways, what made me think of him was that he said this week that he doesn't think that marijuana should be legalized, but he does believe it's the right of the states. And he's not going to go after the states.
I heard that. Yeah. I listened to a lot of the questioning, and he was saying all the things that we all want to hear. Which scares me.
Yeah. He's just a little too rational.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, he says, you know, I think marijuana being legalized is a horrible thing. It's like, you know.
So he said he thought it was horrible, but at the same time, wouldn't go after it.
Right.
That's the key. If you let the states do it, and then you don't come after them,
I don't know about that.
Eventually, it'll become so overrun that once most of the states, then they'll have no choice to legalize it federally.
And I think that they might start seeing the same thing true with cocaine and heroin and stuff.
I wouldn't say legalize.
We're doing safe injection sites. It's a slippery slope.
So you're doing decriminalization?
Decriminalization. Don't sell it out of a shop. I mean,
we talked about that medical marijuana. Why did it come marijuana shops? That should have been in the pharmacy. You know, if it's medicine, it should go through a pharmacy and a real doctor, not this. Oh, I got back pain, and okay, here you go. Smoke as much weed as you want. You know, I mean that's weird. You don't do that with any other medicine. So they didn't take it seriously from the start, in my opinion. It was just a slippery slope to get it recreational.
Yeah, because now the states want all the medical facilities to go away. Because when they first
Yeah, I don't
legalized,
understand. That's so
when they
ridiculous.
first legalized medical marijuana, they did it in such a way that was beneficial for the grower and the buyer, and not the state.
That's the other thing, though.
So they're not getting the
Correct. So now they legalized it. Now they're taxing it, and now they want the medical.
So they can
side to
tax
go
the
away.
recreational, they can't tax the medical facility?
Correct. Just because of the laws that the way it was all written up when it was legalized.
And in this budget that we're on a shutdown from is the farm bill, which has the hemp package.
That's it. You got to give them
So-
credit. The hemp bipartisan
I know,
support.
and it came from
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell and our Oregon senator, whatever his name is.
White.
Yeah, so we got a Democrat from Oregon teaming up with the biggest Republican in Kentucky, saying, yeah, let's legalize hemp.
It's a big deal.
And yeah, it's a huge deal. So I bought stock.
Can you buy hemp stock?
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Well,
really?
different companies like Pepsi and these guys are going to start. You already see it at like 7-Elevens. You can buy CBD water.
Can you got to share
that's all
some
hemp.
sites, some
Well,
companies? with
isn't weed stock and hemp stock separate? Or is it?
you get a whole green fund,
Yeah.
but it's all of it. You know.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I think these companies, the three that I got, they're going to be the ones that are going to be putting CBDs in like Pepsi. They're going to merge up with Coca-Cola and Pepsi and put it in. They already have it, like the garage. You can get a whiskey or something, and you can do you want a CBD shot for an additional $3, and they have a little squirt bottle.
Wow,
in there.
nice.
Yeah, and so I think it's going to be a trend. We were talking earlier, you know, we got that icy hot that I put on my shoulder. That works way better than that hemp rub. I just love my chemicals, man.
Well, I did try
icy
it.
hot. Have you ever tried icy hot with weed?
That one here's the CBD.
I mean, I've tried natural deodorant. It just sucks. You know, it just sucks. I like my Old Spice,
For
so
real.
chemicals included. I smell way better, so I don't care.
Last funny story I wanted to bring up was the dealer that was busted, the card dealer. He was working with his buddies, and he was peeking at cards and telling them whether or not to hit.
Where was this?
This at Suquamish Casino, I think,
Oh,
in
I didn't
Clearwater.
hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just came yesterday.
Oh, tipping
Yeah.
off the players.
Yeah.
Jeez, when you think you're above the
Yeah,
camera.
19-year-old
I guess.
blackjack dealer charged with felony for first-degree
Oh.
cheating.
That's what they get
Clearwater.
for hiring a
It's a
19-year-old.
felony?
Oh yeah. for
Oh yeah,
sure.
it's a bad thing. I've seen so many fights when I was dealing cards, like people beating the shit out of each other and all sorts of fights, people yelling and stuff. And it went on for like half an hour.
Wow.
This one guy came in, they did the pen swipe and a $100 bill, and it was counterfeit. The feds were there in like 30 seconds. I mean, the place was just like boom. Yeah, they're serious about that shit.
Wow.
And they don't even give a fuck about like money laundering. You know, so you come in there at 4 o'clock in the morning as a meth dealer. I mean, it was obvious as fuck. They're great tippers.
Fine.
They'll give you like, I want $1,000. You give them $1,000 of chips, a bunch of black and a bunch of red, and they play for a little bit, 20 minutes, and they take it right to the cage, and they give them cash back. They take all their dirty money and put it in the box, and then they go get clean money from the cage. It happened all the time.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a way to
Wow.
track it, but it's just so.
I mean, you're making assumptions.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Pretty
making
much.
huge assumptions, and everybody
Yeah.
knows what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, two people in an elevator, somebody farts, everybody knows who did it.
So back to Blackjack Blinky over here with his friends.
Blackjack Blinky.
How much time is he looking at?
That's a good question.
Well, he's 19. It's a first-time offense. There's a good chance he's probably just going to give probation, slap on the wrist.
He'd say I locked
$10,000 bail doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
So, like, they're probably going to make a plea deal.
Oh, it's also tribal, so
Very tribal.
you have to go through the tribal gaming court
Yeah,
or
because
whatever.
so
But if
like,
you've been to Clearwater, that's probably the nicest tribal jail in the country.
yeah, they got a nice room
They
there.
put you in a big sweat lodge. We're gonna make you sweat this one out, boy.
So, in our state,
They play that crappy
there's-
music all day long.
the casinos on tribal land have slot machines, and they can deal blackjack from the hand. Okay, so they just, you know,
No shoe.
no shoe,
Right.
easier to cheat, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not tribal in the state, you're a card room. You're not a casino. You're technically a card room. You have to deal out of a shoe, and
there's
you
no
have
slot.
no slot machines.
Yeah.
And so the gaming agents for the state will go to these card rooms, and it's when they have an issue with the dealer, like the background checks that they do and stuff, it's to protect the card room. So the card room will hire somebody, but they don't have the resources to find out the background and all this other shit. So the state comes in and says, this guy's good, he's
So
good.
the gaming approves the dealer.
Gaming approves
Whereas
the
the
dealer.
tribes gaming.
The tribal,
approves
they
their own
all
dealers,
own
yeah.
shit, so
Yeah.
they're going to have to go through their own shit. So it also depends on who he knows, why he got the job, if he was well connected,
Yeah.
stuff like
Well, he
that.
could probably get a job dealing out of the shoe. He can't.
No, he's going to probably...
He can't see the card. Oh no, he
never
can still
be
see the
hired.
ace. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he won't.
Because
They don't get licensed.
even part of the background check they do that they look for is speeding tickets,
What?
history of fighting, like assault charges, and any
What
kind of
would
theft.
speeding have to do
They
with
say it shows aggression. So they don't want to have dealers who show signs
This
of
is Washington
aggression.
State. How do they even have one dealer working? I've seen your drivers there.
Well, that's the other funny thing about
Scary.
what's going on with the Democrats taking the House and the Mueller investigation is that the first thing they're going to do in the impeachment process is get his tax records, and you know how much money did he make and this and that and the other thing. It's like they're going to do a background check on our president finally. I mean, you can't get a job in the shipyard as a painter if you have a DWI.
Yeah.
You know?
Can't deal cards in Washington.
I remember when George Bush was going to go visit Canada, and there's a big to do about him having a DWI on his record because nobody else can go there with a DWI
Right.
Yeah,
record. But
that really
the
ticked
president
me
did.
off.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I'll sneak in. I don't give a
mean, it's
shit.
funny as fuck when you're like, you know, you're thinking, God, he was so presidential. George Bush. and Clinton fucking getting his cock sucked in the Oval Office and shit, and we want him back.
I don't know about that.
I don't know either, but.
He leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And everyone else is.
But yeah, when I was dealing cards, I was playing cards one day at the place where I worked, and I was playing blackjack, playing two hands, $20 each, and the dealer was just he was the nephew of the owner, so he's dealing to me whatever.
It's a card room, not casino.
Card room, yeah.
Okay.
So one of my hands I get a blackjack, and I have a $20 bet. So he takes up $30, which is the correct amount to pay a blackjack. He cuts into the $20 and then splashes the $10 behind my bet, the extra for the blackjack. That's standard procedure. But when he splashed the $10, he splashed it on top of the $20 bet that he paid me, and one of the $5 chips fell onto the $10 chips. So there was 15 back there, and there was 15 on the bet that he paid me. I went to go grab it to fix it because I was going to pick it up and put it on the bet before I scraped it. But then I thought to myself, well, that's not my job. I'm just a player, you know. So
Yeah.
I stopped, but then I was like, fuck it. So I picked it up. I was like, the camera will notice that it fell off the $20 bet. Well, apparently that was a big deal. They reviewed it in surveillance, and they were like, yeah, you got paid $5 extra. Well, here's the funny part, right? So the next day, they asked him and me to come into the owner's office. And we were like, oh, shit, what do we do? He was like, do you know why we're getting called in? I was like, I have no idea. I was like, well, what have we done? I was like, well, we smoke weed a lot outside on break. Maybe they caught us smoking weed on the camera, you know, or something like that. He's like, yeah, okay, so what are we going to say? I was like, we're not going to say anything. We smoke weed out there. Like, yeah, that was us, you know, we're not going to lie, you know. He's like, okay. So we go in there totally ready to admit that we're smoking weed outside. And they're like, do you know why we brought you in here? And we're like, no, you know. And he's like, they're like, because when you were dealing, he paid you $5 too much, and then you didn't say anything, and it was obvious that you saw that he paid you $5 too much. I was like, actually, no, it fell off the bet, and I know for a fact what you're talking about, and then that was not the case. And they're like, well, we have decided that you knew, and we're going to suspend both of you for like 3 days. They said, we're not going to report it to the gaming, this and that. And I was like, so you really think that him and I went outside after the session and split $5 in half, $2.50 a piece?
Did you say that?
I said that,
I believe
and
it.
they were embarrassed. But
I
at
would
the
hope
same,
so.
I was pissed
But they didn't back down.
because I was like, you need to go check the surveillance, check how much was in the rack. You know, that turns out the cameras weren't good enough to do
No.
that. So then after that, then they installed new cameras. You know. because I fucking went off on them. I was like, this is bullshit. And I said, oh, did you notice that 20 minutes later when the next dealer came in, he paid me $20 too much on a hand on accident. And I stopped and said, no, you don't pay me. I did not win that hand. I pushed. And he goes, oh, thanks. I said, did you guys see that? And they're like, nope. But we did follow you around every table that you went to see if you did anything else with any of the dealers. I was like, and you didn't find anything, did you? Nope. Okay, so
it sucks.
yeah, it was like horrible experience.
They
And
probably
then
just didn't like you, Joe.
they nailed it. You nailed it because there was a bias there. They did not like me.
Boston, like you smoking a sun out in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They didn't know about that, but the thing is that it was a hostile work environment because when I came back from my suspension, I was still really heated, you know, and then I ended up getting suspended again like a week later because of some shit with some tips and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you guys, I can't do it anymore. You guys obviously don't want me to work here. I'm like one of the best dealers you have.
I was one of the worst dealers. I was messing up all the time. It was so funny, but I would always crack jokes, so they liked me. But I had a similar story where there was this thug kind of guy acting all bling and stuff in the table, and he's just with his girl, and he's all trying to show off. And you know, most of the guys are regular guys that just know how to play it. So I accidentally paid him when I should have taken. So it was like $25. And I was like, oh, I overpaid. And there's like Floor, and they come over, and they're like, yeah, you paid. He's like, yeah, but it's my money now. They're like, well, if we would have taken it and it wasn't yours, we would have given it back to you. And so he's like, well, I don't have to give it back. He's like, yeah, we don't have to, you know, let you play anymore either. He's like, fine, fuck you. And he walks off, and everybody on the table is like, finally, that's all it took. Nice job, John. They all tip me up. So, so it's good being bad sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, enough gambling stories. I think we're probably done for the week. Is there anything? Oh, what's coming up this week? We got tomorrow's podcast and the whiskey challenge. That's exciting.
Yeah, and then
Anything tonight?
Just UFC fights, free fights. This should be good. TJ Dillashaw going down a weight class, almost killing himself trying to cut weight.
And Mark, you're doing a show tonight.
I'll be in Northern Lights Theater and Pub. Yeah. I got a theater gig, but it's and pub, so they kind of keep my ego in check. Salem, Oregon, so 7 to 9 o'clock.
Nice.
Where's that at?
Salem.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I did want to ask if anyone listened to the governor's State of the State.
I did not. I saw a couple of highlights, but
Oh, because the entire time I was listening to it, it sounded like he was saying, listen, you people here in Washington, you've got to make me look good.
Getting ready for the
That's
run.
exactly what it sounded like to me. Everything he said was, you got to make me look good.
well, he's trying to do a presidential bid.
Right,
in
exactly.
2020.
Exactly, and he wants us to do it for him.
Yeah.
So I want to say this: we have a show coming up this Friday at Dog Days. It's a Family Feud show. It's open to the public to sign up and play.
Nice.
So
Are you the host?
I'm the host.
he's
You're the host. Oh, that sounds like fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Do you have to bring your actual family?
no, but we encourage it.
I can bring some ringers.
The dysfunctional family.
And you guys write the...
I get the
Categories?
questions from Walmart.
Walmart has
Yeah.
Family Feud?
Questions, yeah.
Okay.
So.
We just input them in there, and then we can modify stuff and put in our own questions.
Let's
we just
do
try
one.
not to do that
Top
too
5
much.
So
answers on
what's
the board.
the
Here's
real
question.
start time?
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's 7 o'clock again.
Name a
Uh-huh.
word that rhymes with stink.
Yeah.
Pink.
But
Yeah.
some of the
Okay.
simplest questions are
True.
some of the funniest ones. Like one time, one of the questions was, name a place where you're not allowed to touch anything. It's like, bam, museum right away. Like, number one answer. And then like zoo or something like that. But once it gets down to the last part, it gets harder to try to think of what the
Right.
last ones could be. And one of the players was like, daycare? And then you could hear Keenan in the audience. He's like, well, he's right, but it's not right.
I like
Wow.
name something you'll buy slightly used.
Oh, yeah.
Condom.
Someone said condom. Oh, my God. I didn't even know there was a slightly used condom seller.
Yeah. Generally used.
That was when we had the bands like
Furlough.
Weirdos against. I like to get different bands to play against each other, and then they play music afterwards. But oftentimes we've had comedians against comedians,
Nice.
and then they do stand up afterwards or before.
That's a great hook.
So the
That's fun.
plan is, I was talking to another comedian in Oregon actually, and he told me that it would be awesome to get like different cities to play against each other. So
Yeah,
you get
for
like
sure.
4 or 5
Yeah.
comedians from Olympia, 4 or 5 comedians from Portland play against each other.
Yeah.
4 or 5 from Seattle versus Tacoma, and maybe even do like a
Yeah.
tournament, you know?
Dude, man, I think that'd be
travel.
something you could do in clubs. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
we
yeah.
we actually
Probably
last
like
year
that.
we did beer tenders versus bud tenders family feud, and we had 8 shops, 8 breweries, and 8 shops
So a lot of
face
turnout,
off
too, I
over
bet.
6 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, and then it came down to the very final round of 3 pot shops and 1 brewery, and a pot shop ended up winning the whole thing.
So do you guys do a prize thing or just for fun?
Yeah, we do
Right.
prizes. We have like sometimes the bar will put up gift certificates. We'll go buy little gifts from the store.
Dude, you're onto something.
It's a lot of fun, and I don't know
Yeah.
how legal it is, but we're having a good time. So.
Yeah. So Steve Harvey shows up.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
lose the family
Steve
feud.
Harvey shows up. I'm like, yeah, Steve Harvey showed up. We made it.
I went to the wrong bar once when he was doing a show,
There's one
and
of the
it was at the
Dude, yeah, you must
place
love
in
that.
Gallo.
That's a lot of fun.
You might
That
kill it.
that one's
Trying to
dog
find a
bar.
video.
I like that picture he did.
Anyway, they were
Filter.
playing bingo, and it was so funny because I figured, well, I'm here, I might as well play bingo. And at one point, the bartender comes over to me and she says,
Go to YouTube.
you know what kind of prizes we give out here, don't you? And I'm thinking, I said, yeah, I'm an adult, it's okay. They were giving out sex stuff, and it's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like,
Naughty
just because
bingo.
I'm old, you think I'd be offended by
Right.
sex stuff? It was really strange.
Anyway, so
That's it, huh? You guys film it?
Yeah, do the top one.
Well, look at you, all sporty on the.
All right, we're doing
Post
number
code.
1. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. Top 5 answers on the board. Hand on the table. First one to buzz in gets to either play or pass. Ready? Top 5 answers on the board. Here's the question. Name an animal that starts with the letter R. Oh my God, that was the slowest ring ever.
Yeah. Rabbit.
Raccoon. Show me the big eyes. All right, a
Oh, you
chance
got
to
the-
steal.
Get the board and everything.
How do you find they have a program?
Yeah.
Oh,
Software,
big
yeah,
red cock.
online.
She's in a rooster.
Cock starts with R. Here's what a bats would play. Alright. Goes to you, Eddie. Okay, now you guys can talk over there. You guys can't talk. That's called collusion. You sit on a senators committee for a little bit. Alright. Eddie, name an animal that starts with the letter R.
All right, we're done with the show, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Rabbit.